Do you believe the arts are important to have in school?
Yeah, I mean, the arts are, like, really important. It's entertainment, it's culture, it's, like, life, and it's just everything around you that isn't informational. Or it can be informational, I guess. But arts are good and important.
We put so much of a focus on sports, and it kind of leaves out like such a big majority of like this creative force. And why is it mandatory I have to, go run around in a gym for 30 minutes? But it's not mandatory that I just learn a little bit of like how color theory works.
I don't know where I'd be without art or stage crew or music, for that matter, too.
I think that the school should focus more on the arts. I understand that they already do, but not really. I feel like we don't have enough representation.
Representation. Attention. Visibility.
Connecticut High School is home to over 2,000 students, myself included. I'm heavily involved with the Arts and Music Department and have been for many years. However, over that time it's become clear the department isn't shown off as much as others are. To that I ask, why? I'm here to give the students a voice and let their opinions be heard.
I don't think people realize it, but kids will always have that need of a way to express, like the need to express themselves in some way, and the arts are a perfect way of doing that, especially when you're a teenager. You might not necessarily want to express it in other ways. It's really easy to get with a group of a bunch of people that you have similar interests with to express it in an artistic way.
Obviously, this department means the world to people. Whether the program allows them to explore their passion or provide a place for students to go and express themselves, how schools provide an art education for students affects every area of their life, now and in the future.
How has this program influenced anything with your future career/life?
If it wasn't for the art program at Connecticut, I wouldn't know what I wanted to do with my future. I'm going into lighting design, which is what I do here.
I plan right now to be going to school for jazz studies, and I never would have had a chance of doing that if our music department wasn't as great as it is.
I grew up reading comic books, but it seemed kind of unreachable for me. And then I took comic books and illustration, the first course with Mr. Rapone, and it finally made me realize oh, there's so many more things that I could do with this.
This department is important to people. For many people, art is their life. Having these classes in high school allows students to pursue their dreams. So it's not hard to imagine why students pursuing these topics often feel discouraged after being treated as an afterthought compared to other departments like science and athletics, even though they are working just as hard.
Do you believe the arts get as much attention as it deserves? Are we overshadowed by things like sports, math, and science?
Yes, absolutely. Sports, specifically, I think.
Yeah, sports are very important to the school.
And I understand that, and they both can be, but I sometimes feel that the athletes at the school try to overpower the musicians, and they get too competitive. I get that the athletics are important to them, but also the arts are important to people. We can be neutral about it. We don't have to fight.
They decided to have a Spring Fest, which we've never done before, and they had to have it on the exact same night as the exact same time as it was either closing or opening night of the show. And that just made me and a lot of people in the arts department so angry, because it's not only that it disregarded us, it's just how the sports versus the art community, I guess, responded to it, because it wasn't a respectful conversation or a respectful thing, especially with students. It was, we spent hours putting up posters and all around the school, and every single time someone in the sports department went by them, they ripped them down, they tore them up. They didn't just take them down, they ripped them off the walls, they would throw them to garbage cans, and it was a big waste of time and money, basically. And I don't know, that just made me so angry.
So another celebration of sports, the exact same night of a show that doesn't really get a lot of foot traffic to begin with, because a lot of people aren't really interested in the arts and what we have to say.
Especially with the plays, they get so pushed down. The seats are not filled. What was this? Oh, no, Brighton Beach Memoirs. Cardi said that little to no teachers came to support.
Once I told my chemistry teacher that I was not going to take physics next year because I'm more interested in the arts, she kind of was just you need to take physics to graduate, which you really don't need to.
Teachers and counselors send messages to students that the arts is not worth pursuing, and it leaves students frustrated and upset. This all asks the question, what should be taken seriously in school?
People have different interests, different strengths. So like you may be really good at math and science, but suck at English, or you could be amazing at English, but suck at science. It's the same thing with like education and music and arts. You can be really, really good at these technical, musical, artistic things, but maybe not so great at like the quadratic formula. It should be given the same amount of importance.
To see the arts be taken a little more seriously, I think that'd make band or chorus or any other studio media, photography, film class look more appealing.
As for improvements to the department, students have little to say.
Are there any changes you'd want to see made?
I have to think about this one.
That's fine.
I guess awareness, because I feel like a lot of people think they're just not knowledgeable on the subject, which can be a lot of reasons why people don't necessarily take it as seriously as it should be. And I think that if people, learned a little more about what we're actually doing, we would be able to better have conversations about what we could change for the future.
Students in the arts and music department crave recognition for their hard work devoted to their passions. It's disheartening to see the administration let the hard work of these students go unseen. We often wonder, can things ever change?
I think we're getting there. Slow and steady wins the race. By expanding all the classes that they have and expanding these opportunities, you are creating just this new generation of educated and well-rounded youth. The more we recognize that, I think we're in a step in the right direction all around the world.